No rules.
I agree. Call it off, E.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
A threesome with rules is not a threesome. It's a nightmare.
Hello! I'm just kidding, guys. I'm not going to do that to you this week. Welcome back, everybody, to Oh Yeah, the Entourage podcast. I am your host, J.R. Hickey, coming to you from San Francisco, California. We're talking this week about threesomes. Three's Company, episode 6 of season 3, iconic Entourage episode. Had to have my good friend Mike Camerlengo back. We had him on last season for Oh Mandy. He was the most requested guest to have back on. He's a funny dude. Recently, he's gone super mega viral for a couple of tweets, most notably his tweet about Kawhi Leonard saying Apple time. So Mike and I talked about what it's like to go viral. We also talked about threesomes. We talked about Sloan. We talked about Eric, and we talked about Vince finally standing up for himself this episode, which was pretty awesome to see. Thanks to everyone that's been leaving 5-star reviews. I've gotten some really positive 5-star reviews recently. If you've been enjoying the podcast, please leave us a 5-star review in your podcasting app. Don't forget to listen to the Oh Yeah music playlist. It's in the show notes of today's episode. And if you're not, follow us on social media at Oh Yeah Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Quick programming note, since Monday is Labor Day, the next episode 7 of season 3, will not be airing until next Wednesday. So you're going to get a little bit of a break. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. So once again, the next episode of Oh Yeah will not air on Monday, September 2nd. It will be airing on Wednesday, September 4th. Take some time, go back and listen to some of your favorite Oh Yeah episodes. We've got a lot of great stuff coming for the back half of Season 3A. So just want to make sure that's all squared away for you guys. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Talking threesomes with Mike Camerlengo. All right, everyone, welcome back to the podcast. He is back. We had him on for Oh Mandy in Season 2 back in May. Since then, he has gone on to instant viral Twitter fame. He also is the creator of 60-Second Classics on Twitter and is a former writer and cast member of MTV's Joking Off. Mike Camerlengo, welcome back to the Entourage podcast, my friend.
Oh, thank you for having me, JR. It was great last time, and I got to tell you, since going viral, my life has not changed at all. Nobody has offered me any money or jobs. Just a lot of heart palpitations. So it's interesting. I recommend it to nobody.
Yeah, that dopamine rush of getting like a viral tweet off is amazing, and then you just feel so depressed afterwards.
Oh, the amount of times like over that whole weekend where I was trying to delete it, and my wife was like, "What are you trying to delete it for?" She's like, "Isn't this what you want when you tweet?" I'm like, "I don't know what I want anymore."
I don't. My whole world is upside down. So I'm sorry to make you relive it. It sounds like you have some PTSD. But those listeners who may not be familiar, Mike is responsible for the Kawhi Leonard tweet about Kawhi eating apples, which is insane. Can you walk us through the entire... I mean, I'm sure you're not going to walk us through the thought process of the tweet, because like most tweets...
I will walk you through the thought process because it takes about 10 seconds. So it was around the time, it was like the height of the NBA playoffs, and there were two stories that came out on Friday, like Thursday or Friday. One was in The Athletic, and one, I think, maybe Sports Illustrated, whatever. But one of them was that like detailed story about him saying Boardman, and Boardman gets paid, and there's this other story about him in like the weight room where he's saying shit, and it was so fucking weird. And so I woke up Saturday morning, I was reading kind of it, I was pretty hungover, and I was like, oh, that'd be funny, like, what's a funny Kawhi thing? And then I just, for whatever reason, I thought it was funny to have him at like a steakhouse and pulling out a bag of apples. I wrote it, I put a screenshot, and I was just like, whoa, this is wild. Expecting my usual, 10 to 20 likes, and it just went from there. And most people, I'd say 50% of the people got the joke right away.
Yeah.
But the amount of people who had journalists next to their name who were like, oh man, this guy's really wild. It's like, dude, guys, come on.
Well, that's the problem with sports media in general, is everyone has to be first to something. So they just saw that, it looked official, and they shared it, and in order to say, like, look at this story I'm breaking. But man, I remember seeing it, I remember hearing it quoted on some podcasts I was listening to. What, in your opinion, was the highest honor you achieved with that? Like, who talked about that tweet or who mentioned it that you really were blown away by?
Wait, let me just give a shout out to Dave Cavucci. He was the first person to retweet it. So
okay, David. He's been on the pod David, 3 times. So
yeah, man. So shout out to him. I think the funniest part of the whole thing is that people have no clue where it came from. Like it'll be in people's profiles. It'll say Apple Time. Random people, like some guy on SportsCenter said Apple Time, and it's like, yo, fucking guys, I'm looking for a job. Like, come on, this is, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, I'll just take it created by credit. That's all I need.
There you go.
Some guy did make T-shirts, and he sent me one, which I thought was nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, hopefully he makes a lot of money off it and puts his kids through college while mine starve.
I'm not trying to one-up in any way, because you one-up me with that story, but I had mild fame maybe 2 months ago when everyone was using that FaceTime app, or what is it called? Like,
oh yeah, like the old person one?
The old person app, and I just put up a picture of the boys, the Entourage, and I left Drama unaged because he's always like such like his age is so abstract, and I posted it, and I think that's probably the biggest viral fame I've achieved, because Jerry Ferrara shared it, Dodd Ellen shared it, and it made it to like the front page of some celebrity gossip site, and a bunch of celebrities were commenting underneath it about how the Face Age app had to stop and that this is the worst thing that's happened to them. And I felt a little bit of pride, but then was like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. It's like you created that and it went viral, and it's like, once it gets out of your hands, you can't do anything about it. Like people are. I had another recent one where I made fun of Neil deGrasse Tyson because he was being a moron, and then the whole thing turned into like gun control in my comment section. I'm like, no, guys, that's not. The joke isn't about gun control. The joke is this fucking nerd doesn't know timing. You know what I mean? So it's like once you send it out there, there's nothing you can do.
Mike, can we surmise that it's because of your appearance on Oh Yeah, the Entourage podcast that you got so hot all of a sudden on Twitter? Because it happened like a week and a half later.
It did. It all coincided around the same time. The Oh Yeah podcast and the NBA stuff. It just, talking about Mandy Moore really got my blood pumping. So I think that was it.
I get it. Well, we're happy to have you back. Why don't we dive in?
Yeah.
All right, we're talking about episode 6 of season 3, Three's Company. I mean, also known as the threesome episode, right? Like, when you say to someone like, oh, I'm rewatching Entourage, I'm watching the episode where he has a threesome, everyone kind of knows which one you're talking about. So this aired on Sunday, July 16th, 2006. The same night, the 14th annual ESPY Awards took place in Los Angeles. The best male athlete, Mike, Lance Armstrong. That doesn't age very well.
Lance, yeah. Hey, he was using somebody else's blood, but he still had to pedal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. These are, I'll be honest, and I'm being very transparent right now. This is the hardest part of my podcast. Trying to find an event that took place the week of an Entourage episode is damn near impossible. Because Entourage always aired over the summer.
Right.
It always aired like June to August. So nothing ever was really happening. It was just baseball season. And then it's always like some horrible disaster. And I'm like, well, I don't want to talk about Katrina on the podcast.
There's always like a natural disaster in August.
I know. So let's talk about the episode. Quick recap. So the showdown between Vince and the studio intensifies over Aquaman 2 versus Medellin. Adding to Ari's aggravation, Vince is refusing to talk to him until he lands Johnny Drama a role. Eric gets the offer of a lifetime when Sloane suggests they get together with her friend Tori for a threesome. After the trio spend a night together, Eric wakes up to find himself spooning Tori instead of Sloane. Alan Gray, the head of Warner Brothers, plays hardball with Ari, threatening to shut off access to all of their projects for all of his clients if he fails to deliver Vince. And a last-minute audition for Drama that was procured by Lloyd finally opens up the line of communication with Vince, but it's too little too late. Ari delivers the news that Vince doesn't want to hear. Medellin is off the table. The role has gone to Benicio del Toro. After Ari convinces him that he has no choice, Vince finally agrees to do Aquaman 2, but when Vince fails to show up for a breakfast with the studio chief the next day, the offer is rescinded, leaving everybody's future in extreme doubt. Try to get all like dramatic there.
Oh yeah, you should put some like E60 music or something under that. Yeah.
I should. That's a good call. I'm gonna put some ominous music under that one. Mike, what was your favorite moment overall from this episode?
Wait, can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
I think we talked about this last time. Medellin is Medellin, right?
Yeah, it's Medellin. Medellin, yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like there was like 3 episodes where everyone was calling it Medellin, and then they like shortened it, and like maybe someone was like, "Hey, that's not how you're supposed to pronounce that." I'm not trying to call you out. I'm saying the episode changes the pronunciation of it.
And I'm just reading it based off of how it's written. Like, I'm honestly not familiar with what it is. I just am
Because it's like I think it's like the season before where they're like, oh, everyone wants to do Medellin, and it's like 14 syllables. So I don't know, but
everyone was trying to put their own like South American like spin on it. Speak it as it's written, guys.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry. What was your favorite moment?
Yeah.
This is another one. I know that we did this last time. This is such like a drama-heavy episode to me.
Yeah.
I think he's so great. I mean, even the beginning, it opens up with him playing like the Godfather game.
I now invite you to be reborn as one of us.
Thanks, bro.
You are now one of our qualified men.
It just sums up his character and like how he fits in with the group so well.
Yeah. And that was another like instance of, and I talked about this with Jeff Eisenband, who's an announcer for the NBA 2K League. Entourage was so ahead of its time with video gaming. Yeah. That Godfather game was like, that was the first time anyone had seen that game. So it was basically like a marketing ploy by Entourage.
Right, and it's like the first time one of those games is like actually a movie in a game. Like, have you seen the new NBA 2K whatever? I'm like, is this a video game or a fucking movie? It's like a full length thing. It's a full trailer.
How crazy would it be if Apple Time made it into NBA 2K?
I'd love it, and I'd be like, hey, I was the guy who made that, and they'd be like, who? Stop tweeting at us. Like, it would be great. But yeah, shout out Jerry Ferrara, dude. He's like big into gaming and stuff. So
he's I think he runs his own NBA 2K team, and he might be the VP of one of the organizations there. He's killing it.
It's all tied together.
So I actually really liked. Vince had a good episode. Vince has like kind of been in the background for the last couple episodes, but in last week's episode and this episode, he kind of starts to assert himself a little bit. So there are two moments that I really liked. The first is when he has his moment of wisdom with E in the Hustler store.
Look, I've had threesomes where both girls want to watch me with the other, and I've had threesomes where I have one girl who I need to be a little more protective of. In the long run, the girl you have to be more protective of is the girl you want to be in a relationship with, not the girl who's begging you to bang her best friend. Look, Sloane's a good girl. You'll have a good time. Make sure she knows she's the one in first position.
There's some genuine truth to that, which I kind of appreciated.
Yeah, because you know every guy is like, oh, I wish I could have a threesome or whatever, but you don't want the person who you're in a relationship with to be like too far over the line, or else it's like, wait a sec, like, you know, what happened to Missionary Mondays? Like, I thought we had something on our own, you know, like what's happened? Like, you're too wild for me.
Yeah, Mike, we're both married, and like I don't know what your sexual proclivities, but like if my wife were to be like, hey, let's have a threesome, I'd be like, oh, cool, absolutely. But if she were to be really into having a threesome, I'd be like, let's pump the brakes a second.
Yeah, I'd be like, where have you done this before? Yeah, what is happening?
I had one more Vince moment, unless you had something you wanted to add. I
mean, I have a bros being bro moment. Is that like a different category?
That's a different category. Let me do. I mean, it doesn't really matter. This is
I'm very formal with the categories.
It's all good. Some people are really sticklers about the categories. They apologize. They're like, I'm really sorry, but this goes into a category.
Hate to bring this up now, but
my last one, and I talked about this last week about Vince really sticking to his principles. It's at the very end of the episode when Ari kind of confronts him and is like,
You can tell Alan I will show up every day and I will bust my ass like I've always done, but I don't want the 12.5 million. I want the 7 that we agreed upon. I don't want to be indebted to some douchebag.
Vinny, he has other movies.
I don't care. I'll never work with him again anyway. I don't care if he offers me $1 billion. Do you understand?
Vince!
I'm done. Kids got principles, huh?
It's nice. It's a little on the nose. It's a little cliche, like, oh, boy, Vince sure has principles, doesn't he? But it's a nice character trait of his, I think.
It's funny, and this is what we talked about last time. Maybe it's because of my personal experiences, but I always get pissed when people turn down things. I'm like, Vince, just suck it up and go do the movie for $12.5 or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's right. It's like he's showing that he doesn't care, and I get that. But I'm like, dude, just do the movie. Come on.
Yeah. Because we talked about this, we'd sell our souls in a second for a tenth of that cost. I'll go do a movie for a year in Antarctica for $12,500.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, Mike, what was your favorite bros being bros moment from this episode? There's some really good ones. Sorry.
Yeah, I think the one that I wrote down was just when like E is getting ready to go out for his threesome, and like how excited everyone is, and you know they're all giving him advice, and you know Vince takes a picture, and Turtle gives him his porn, and you know Drama's doing his shit.
Look at this guy,
Nancy. Oh, what are you going to your senior prom?
Fuck off. The made D from Dakota called to confirm.
Dakota, huh? Leave it to this guy to wine and dine a threesome.
As from my private reserve. Just in case you have a problem getting it started, that'll warm everybody up. I know you're not a big porn guy, but the innovations since the DVD are pretty amazing. Remember back in the day, you'd be tugging it, and they cut to a close-up of the guy's face and you wanted to kill yourself? Never again. Multi-angles. Good tip, Turtle.
Turtle, grab a picture.
This is before. You better bring home the after.
I just think that's like something that would happen. Like if one of your buddies was like, "Hey man, I'm about to have a threesome," we'd all be like, all right, no direct eye contact with this person. You got to do this. Like this is a sweet way to fucking unclip a bra, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just like stupid shit that you would all try to throw in your 2 cents.
It'd be like a pre-game breakdown from like 3 of the least reliable sources on the planet. I mean, probably besides Vince. Like I'm sure E would listen to Vince's advice, but I'm not taking Turtle and Drama's advice for how to have a threesome. Yeah,
I mean, Turtle's advice was funny. It was like, if you can't get it going, like, watch this. It's like, dude, I don't think getting it going with Sloane and whatever that actress's name is going to be a problem.
Yeah, E even says to Turtle and Drama as they're walking down the street, like,
you know what? I don't even know why I told you guys this. This is between me and my girlfriend.
No, this is between you, your girlfriend, and a complete stranger.
And of course you tell your best friends. We might have some wisdom to impart.
Listen, the only threesome you guys have ever had involved each other. I don't want any of that wisdom imparted.
Which is true. It's a callback to the Sundance episode when they cross swords, as Turtle says.
Yeah.
Any other bros being bros moments you had?
I mean, it's kind of the same thing. You mentioned it a little bit before, but like when they walk into the porno store, and again, this is maybe in Drama's category. He just says such a funny line. He's like,
"Well, what are we doing? I thought we were going to book soup."
No, that was a ruse.
This is gonna happen. We gotta get you prepared, baby.
Grab a basket.
What are we, in Pathmark?
And it's just like so funny, and it's so they're all doing their own thing, but they're just talking. That's when Vince imparts his wisdom. I think it's like the whole section of them like pumping him up beforehand, of like doing the pros and cons, and then when he decides to do it, being like, "All right, you got this," which I think is good. It's like that's how you would talk to your buddy. You'd be like, "I don't know if you should do this," and then when he says he's going to do it, you're like, "Dude, you got it."
I agree. One other bros being bros moment for me is the beginning of the episode when they all go out for their guys' night, and they run into Sloane. And then Turtle and Drama are like genuinely pissed about it.
So what? You can't have a fun guys' night out with me?
We love you, Sloane. You know that.
But it's the law. You don't invite your girl on a boys' night out.
It's a little meatheady, but there is some truth to that. Like if you and your 3 buddies are going around to just like hammer beers at a bar, if one guy brings his girlfriend unannounced, if the girlfriend shows up, that's a faux pas in my opinion.
And it's funny too how they just clearly don't trust E like with his girlfriend and shit, because they're like, even after he's like, "I didn't tell her to come in," they're like, "Yeah, right, dude." Like we all know that person who's like, "You probably told your girlfriend or whatever to meet us here."
Yeah. Oh, I definitely know that person.
Yeah.
But it's also funny. It also shows the size of LA because there really are only like 5 or 6 places to hang out in Hollywood.
Yeah.
What was your least favorite moment from the episode?
Anytime, this is throughout the series, I guess, but anytime they're at the agency and there's like other agents involved, or like, I know they're just kind of giving a springboard for Ari to yell at, and that can be funny, but I just don't care about any of them. All I care about is Ari and Lloyd, and it's like, he's like yelling at everyone to get Drama a job, and Ari has some funny lines, but I just don't care about any of it. You see some of these background actors and you're like, is that a reality star? Like, they're just, some of these roles are just people that are floating around Hollywood, and it's like, do we need to see this?
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you point that out because one of them Faces in the Crowd award this week. It's Jason Sklar. He's one half of the comedy duo, the Sklar brothers.
And they come back. I mean, they have that whole episode where they're like banging each other. One of them's banging the other one's wife or something.
Yeah, that's like season 6 or 7.
Again, those guys, I'm sure they're fine, but I just wanted to jump off a bridge when that scene was happening.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's like...
Question, no locks at staff meetings now, Ari?
Cost cutting until we get into the new offices. There will be locks in the new year. Trust me. Until then, enjoy the gourmet chicken salad.
It's like, come on. But that's, it's interesting because like that dude and his brother have like 3 stand-up specials, 2 on Comedy Central, 1 on Netflix. They hosted an ESPN show. Like, they're not nobodies, and it's just funny to see them collecting a paycheck on Entourage.
Yeah, and I think that kind of speaks to kind of the show at the time, how big it was. It's like people just wanted to get on that show. So if you had a client who was, they were probably crushing at the time, but it's like, hey, we can get you on the show, we can get you 2 lines, get you paid, and why wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100%.
It's not their fault that I just don't
move along, like guys. Seeing them.
Yeah, I don't like your faces.
one day of work for them back in 2006, and it's getting shit on a podcast in 2019.
Meanwhile, I'm like, hey, you guys want to watch my web series on Twitter? yeah, real good life, Mike.
There's a tiny little moment that I really didn't like. It's when they get home from the bar and Drama and Turtle are complaining about how Tori was cold to them.
Did you hear what she said when I offered to buy her a drink?
No, what?
No, thank you.
Oh, what a bitch.
And then Sloane calls and E freaks out.
All right, guys, this is Sloane, so stop.
Didn't we just see her?
How whipped is this guy?
And it's very clear he's super insecure. It's whoa, dude, chill out. Your buddies aren't gonna shit talk your girlfriend while you're on the phone with her. They're not scumbags.
And Sloane is repeatedly shown as being the coolest chick ever. She doesn't give a shit. She knows they're morons, and I feel like that pops up in another episode too, where E is she wants to go away with him to Napa, and Vince wants to go, and he's no, we'll have him put through a test, and he's no, he pins everything on Sloane. And it's dude, you just want to fucking dry hump your girlfriend by yourself. You can just say it. You don't have to blame everything on her. I feel like he always blames her for shit.
Oh yeah, and Sloane is definitely the ideal male fantasy girlfriend because she just, first off, this is the first episode she's been in 4 episodes. She just kind of pops in when needed, looks amazing, and wants to have threesomes with the guy. So it's a little, she's pretty low maintenance in my opinion.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, great episode for lines. There's some good drama lines, some good Ari lines. Which ones were some of your favorite?
All right, I think I already said this one, but when they walk into the porn store and Drama goes, grab a basket, and it's just so matter of fact. He's just such a good actor, the way he delivers everything. When I think these are all drama lines. I have a couple of Ari ones too. But yeah, when E comes out wearing a suit before his threesome, Drama goes, "Where are you going? Your senior prom?" Which is such a great line to just get in someone's head. I guess that would be a good bros being bros moment as well. Because I just remember just being in college, and it didn't matter what anybody would wear. When they would come out of the room, it'd be dude, you really wearing that shirt tonight? Yeah. And everybody would just pile on. They'd be what's no good with the stripes? And it's just it's so easy to do that.
Just get under their skin a little bit and just put it in their head. They're already nervous enough.
It's so funny too, because just not to be guys do this and women do this, but women just, they don't do that. I talk to my wife, you really just bust your girlfriend's chops about what they're wearing? She's no, they're my best friends. Why would I do that? I'm I don't know. We just make each other cry.
I guess the inverse of that is that they prop each other up with very fake compliments, though.
Yeah,
that's.
Well, they would say it's not fake. It depends on who you are, I guess.
Sure,
but they do prop each other up and don't tear each other down, which I don't agree with that kind of friendship.
Neither do I.
The one where another drama line where he says, it's in the beginning, where I think Turtle says
this is the closest you're ever gonna come to work and win an Academy Award winner.
Yeah, nice try, Turtle. But I guess the 3 episodes of A Different World that I did with Marissa Tomei were just a figment of my imagination.
No, it's just a callback to his weird career that is all over the place.
But that makes me laugh every time. I think they do it a lot, but they could do that every episode. It would make me laugh because it's always using real people, and sometimes real shows. I guess they always use real shows, but
yeah, they always use real shows.
Obviously, what's his name was never on it. They. Pac Blue or Pac Sun or whatever would be in it. Yes, all those
Blue,
shit. Yeah. So funny.
Ari has a great line at the beginning where he goes,
"Dinner was great. Tell Drama he's on my to-do list right after inserting needles in my cock."
Yeah, I have that. That's so funny. I don't know when this was. I guess it was I think it must have been when E tells Drama and Turtle that they want to have a threesome with him.
So what she said was cute.
Me.
You. Why would she tell Sloane she thinks you're cute?
Because they're drunk and she told Sloane we should have a threesome.
So why aren't you in your car right now?
Because they're fucked up and it's a joke.
No woman should ever joke about that.
No, they should not.
That was Drama who says that. Drama said all the great lines this week.
Yeah. And then Ari had one where he said,
No, you know what? It's too late for sorries. Vince is out. Jake Gyllenhaal is in. Brokeback motherfucking Aquaman. Take that, bitch.
Which was pretty funny.
2 more quick lines. One from Vince.
Don't fuck with the boys from PS 154.
I love the callback to the New York public schools. It just kind of gave you... If I was still living with my 3 friends from elementary school, we'd probably mention the elementary school every once in a while.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice touch. And then you mentioned when Ari's yelling at the agents to find Johnny Chase a job.
Any job. I don't care if it's a porn shoot in which he is being gang raped by a gaggle of silverback apes. If there are cameras rolling, everybody wins. 10 grand to anyone that can deliver this to me today.
Absurd. Could you imagine someone saying that to their employees today?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about music. Every week we talk about our favorite songs from this week's episode of Entourage. We have a Spotify playlist in the show notes of today's episode where we add all those songs. So go listen to that playlist, download it, subscribe, whatever. Any songs jump out at you from this week, Mike?
Honestly, no, but maybe that's just my stupid ears. You know, I'm not great at picking up how you say music. But you tell me, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, no, that song. I get most of my music from car commercials, so I'm not that smart.
Fair enough. You know what? To be honest, this is not a strong music episode. We've had a couple good ones in a row, but...
Yeah, the old Mandy one was pretty strong.
Yep. I do remember Oh Mandy ending on something really good, if I don't remember off the top of my head. Most of the episodes end on a strong song. So during the threesome scene with Eric, Tori, and Sloan, there's the song Do It To It by Sean Paul, which is... It aged itself as I was watching it in real time in 2006. Like watching it now, I was like, oh man, this song is old and bad. So that's a thumbs down for me. And then in the end of the episode, when it's like the breakfast meeting with Universal, it's fallout afterwards with like Ari and E talking on the phone, and then the cliffhanger of E pulling up and being like, no, Vince, we're the ones who are fucked. There's a song called Keep Me in Your Mind by indie rock band called the Koreans.
These fucking actors, they think they have all the power.
Alan, Vince is a good kid.
Fuck Vince, Ari. And fuck you.
Okay, then.
Why this song is so interesting is because it is on no streaming services, and it's long considered one of the better songs that's played in these early seasons of Entourage. So if anyone has the ability to watch it on YouTube, listen to it on YouTube, listen to Keep Me in Your Mind by the Koreans, because it's a good one.
All right, I'm going to look it up. Wait, you can't find it, you said?
You just can't listen to it on like Spotify or SoundCloud.
You get some like weird like YouTube version of it, right?
Yeah, you can just find it on YouTube, which is fine. It's just not, you'd think at this point in time every song would be readily available. What references were made that seemed a little outdated to you in this episode?
I mean, this isn't really a reference, but just kind of like 2006 versus 2019 when when E's going to do his threesome thing, whatever. Turtle hands him a DVD of porno, and he's like, "Hey man, like watch this if you need to get jacked up." And it's just like the idea of somebody having an actual DVD of porno. Like today, if someone had a DVD porn, you'd be like, dude, are there like bodies in your freezer? Because you're fucking psycho.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a psycho move.
I even think about that when people, every now and then you hear about people who are like truly pay for porn. And you're like, I don't think you have to do that, man. Like it's pretty easy. Yeah, just get it for free.
And there are what they call freemium models now, where you can just pay a little bit. You don't have to just like. Yeah. So Turtle's got a stack of DVDs in his bedroom, and it's a weird look for sure.
And he's like bragging about the like the camera angles and shit, which is funny.
It's funny line, and it aligns with the Turtle character, but totally agree. It doesn't age, a little outdated. We always talk every week about how would this plot be different in 2019. The porn thing, that definitely falls, but I wanted to talk about just the idea of a threesome with you.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's because of just like the transparency of the internet, or just everyone's like sexual fluidity being on display today. But I don't really think the idea of a threesome would be that interesting for a television episode in 2019. Does that make sense to you? Like, it's interesting as in terms of a plot line for like men, but I don't think it would make for as compelling television in 2019.
Yeah, I guess in like, especially what is 2006, it's like, that's like the thing that guys, I guess, would aspire to.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess when you break it down, you'd be like, well, would everyone really have a good time? Because I think the worst thing you'd want to do is be involved in a threesome with someone that you're in a relationship with, and like it was just uncomfortable for people.
Yeah.
Or like, Vince says she's having too good of a time, or you're having too good of a time with the other person. So as like, there are a lot of like, pitfalls there, but I agree. I think now it's like that shit's so much more common to talk about, at least, and people are that's like a thing that you could probably bring up on a network TV show, when in 2006, that's much more of a, cable show or premium cable. And you add in the fact that it's, E, who's like the classic everyman in the sense that he's like this short Irish dude from New York, and his girlfriend is somehow, fucking Sloane, and then her friend is whatever her name is, so you're like these two beautiful actresses, and it's just very fantasy land.
Yeah.
But which makes it fun, because it's like, how would you, because E knows he's in over his head, no pun intended, and he, has to kind of figure out how to go with the flow, which I think everybody would probably feel like, whether you're with a threesome with Supermodel or just, your wife and her friend who sells fucking socks on Etsy,
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And I think one more thing, we're kind of talking about like the network TV thing versus the table thing. In today's 2019, streaming digital web series world, Ari's agency would be able to find drama a job in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
He'd call in like some favor that some showrunner owed him and be like, can you just get this guy like a good audition? Like, it wouldn't take all day. Like, unless those are the worst agents on the planet, you're in the middle of Hollywood, you're this powerful agent, you just need the guy to like have a day of work.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically working at like WME or something like crazy like that. Like, they can get people work, although they haven't been answering my emails, but that's fine. I know I said I don't like scenes where Ari's like yelling at other people, but and other agents, but when he does hold up Johnny's headshot and it's the one with the apple behind it,
great throwback.
It's just so funny. Yeah, it's just such a great callback, and it's so subtle. He doesn't pay any attention to it. It's just like, that's Johnny Drama's headshot from now on. It's hilarious.
So you mentioned her just a moment ago, Sloane's beautiful actress friend. She's not an actress. She's a beautiful friend who is played by an actress. She's our Faces in the Crowd award this week. On top of Jason Sklar, it's going to Malin Ackerman.
Yes, I always forget her name.
Were you familiar with her?
I don't know if I was at the time, but she was in that movie with Danny McBride where she like turns into, he marries her and she turns into Danny McBride doesn't marry her. I don't know, bad radio right now, but someone marries her. Ben Stiller marries her and she turns into like a nightmare.
So she hadn't been in any movies up until this point. The only one she'd been in up until this point in 2006 was Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Oh, okay.
Where she played, she was like dating the really ugly dude, and she wants to like, I think it was a threesome thing with them too.
Well, she was also in the show. It's like the dating show that the Duplass brothers do. It's like an anthology.
Easy?
Easy, yes, Easy. She's in season 2 of Easy. Yeah, and they have a threesome in that too.
God, she's just...
And she gets naked. So she's just like, she's down for it. She's like down to, and God bless her. She's great. And she's funny too. I like her. She's good in, I gotta find the name of this movie because it's pissing me off.
The Heartbreak Kid? That sounds like it's what it is.
The Heartbreak Kid.
Yeah, with Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller's in it.
Yeah.
And Danny McBride's in it.
He thinks he's hitched to the perfect woman. And she's
that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So ready? Pick up from here. And she was in the Heartbreak Kid, and she's so, but she's really funny in that. And she gets like a deviated septum and shit's coming out of her nose. And
since 2016, she's had a supporting role in Showtime's Billions as Bobby Axelrod's wife, Lara. Do you watch Billions at all?
I don't watch Billions, but I follow Brian Koppelman on Twitter, and he's he's talking about it. He created it, but
he's a good follow.
Yeah, he is. So people who watch that show fucking love it, though.
And I'm one of those people, and I love it, but this might be one of the worst written female characters in television history. She basically is like the stereotypical nagging wife that's like not letting the boys have any fun, and she's been so negatively like received that Koppelman just like wrote her off the show. She just like moved to California with the kids. Yeah. So I don't have, when I see Malin Ackerman on the screen, I just think of her as like the annoying wife from Billions. So it doesn't resonate as well with me, but she's still beautiful. She still gets naked in this episode, and at the time she was like an up and comer.
Yeah.
The Sixth Man Award. This is a new category. We didn't have this last season when you were on. So this is just someone who comes in, makes good use of their screen time, leaves an impact, and then is gone. So who'd you say won the Sixth Man Award this week?
I mean, can it be like a recurring character?
Sure. It can be anyone.
Can Lloyd be the Sixth Man?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is interesting because sometimes Lloyd is too much of Lloyd is no good.
Sometimes you're right, yeah.
Sometimes, but if he's the perfect amount, he's like a great foil to Ari.
Yep.
And he can be funny. I thought he was great in this episode. I think he like gets drama that job when he comes over and.
You got something for me, Ari?
I don't have a job.
Then I can't let you pass.
Even if I got you a good audition? Even if Lloyd did?
What do you got?
It's a pilot Eddie Burns is producing.
Eddie Burns? I used to play ball with Eddie Burns. He loves me.
It's 4 young Irish boys in New York.
I'm Irish from New York.
And you were once young?
It's the older brother.
Sounds perfect.
And if you book it, I get $10,000.
Yen, Lloyd, 10,000 yen. Can I come in?
And I would say, yeah, he is, unless you say somebody who I didn't think of, which I'll probably just change my answer because I'm a moron.
So it's quite okay.
But yeah, he jumped out at me as like someone who had a limited role, but was good in it.
Yeah, drama's like...
Hang back with me, Lloyd. I want to hear your big picture strategy.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to give it to Alan Gray.
He's
head of
good.
Warner's. He's ominous, and every scene he's in, he's like putting the fear of God into Ari, and then even at the end, when they show up to breakfast and Vince doesn't show, and he's just like, fucking actors, like they think they run the world. Well, guess what? He's done. Like I liked him. He was a good bad guy this episode, and there aren't a lot of bad guys in Entourage. Things tend to work out for everybody, and in this episode and last week's episode, he plays it well.
What are you going to do when you can't locate me? What are you going to do when I shut this place down to you and everyone you know? How are you going to like explaining to the rest of your clients that one of the largest studios in the world no longer exists?
I wouldn't like that, Alan.
Let me propose something to you, Ari. Something you could present to that pretty boy client of yours if and when you find him.
Okay, I'm listening.
Oh, I'm quite sure you are.
He does, and he plays it well because even I was like, yo, Vince, you really don't want to piss this guy off.
Yeah.
Like, I was like trying to root him on. Like, dude, come on, don't screw this guy over. I also like that. That's a great pick. I would probably agree with you, but I'll stick with Lloyd. But what's her name? Dana Gordon. Whenever she shows up, I just think she's so good. And
you know what? Meredith Hatterty last week chose her for last week's Six Man Award because she just every time she's on screen, she's like funny, bubbly, good sense of humor.
Yeah, she's just somebody you'd be like, oh, she'd be great to like go have like 8 beers with.
Yeah, bunch of cocktails. Like she seems like she's a lot of fun. She's a great follow on Instagram too. She doesn't take herself too seriously, which I like.
Oh, that's good. All right,
we're winding down here. Talked about favorite Johnny drama moments. Anything else jump out at you? All my moments are ones we've talked about already.
When he's on the phone with when Lloyd calls and he's like, is E there? And he's cooking breakfast. When he's like, is Vince there?
Hello.
Hey, Johnny, I have Ari for Vince.
Vince is still sleeping, but I'll talk to Ari.
Vince isn't available, but I have Drama.
I don't want to talk to Drama. I want to talk to Vince.
Sorry, Drama. I don't have Ari anymore.
You just had him for Vince.
Yeah, but then you told me that Vince was sleeping, and now I lost him. But tell Vince to please call Ari when he wakes up, and I'll have him again.
Oh, Vince just walked in. You got Ari now?
I have Vince now. I have Ari.
Can I say that you won't talk to Ari unless he talks to me?
Hey, Ari.
Vince, here's Johnny.
It's just so funny. It's like Drama's he's figuring out in real time that Ari's only there if Vince shows up.
Yeah, it's probably sinking in that the only reason Ari hired him was to keep his movie star client happy.
Yeah, and also Vince is much better in this episode than the Oh Mandy one, which I did before, because he's like he actually plays someone who's relatable, who's he gets on the phone, he's like, get my brother a job, all right, just get him a job.
Yeah,
it's way more relatable in this one.
He's not as neutered in this episode.
Right, exactly.
New one, favorite Ari Gold moment.
Oh, another one is when Vince tells him that he'll go down to $7 million instead of 12.5.
Yep.
Then they cut to him at the breakfast with Alan, and he's like, "Yeah, you know what? Vince is going to come down. He'll do it for 10 instead of 12.5." That's classic. That's classic Ari. That's classic like agents like trying to get that extra money. You know what I mean?
Always hustling.
Always hustling. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty funny one.
There's the whole scene where Ari's on the phone with Alan and he's at his desk. It's very diffable. So if that's a word, which it's not, like when Alan tells him 12.5, he puts it on mute and then he does this like fist pump thing, which is like, it's like the number one diff when you search for diffs for like Entourage is Ari pumping his fist at his desk. And then later on in that scene, he's stomping around and he's going
12.5 million and no one will talk to me? Nobody will talk to me?
It's Alan. I think he'll talk to you.
Ari, that's a rental. That's a rental.
Nope.
Ari, like, to tap it off, throws the mouse at Lloyd as he runs out of the office. Which, just some nice, workplace abuse.
Yeah, he's a good. Jeremy Piven has a lot of great physical comedy in this show.
Oh, yeah. So
why?
expressive.
But why does he think that Vince is going to agree to 12.5? Like, why does he think that's going to make a difference? It doesn't seem like Vince wants to do the movie.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I guess he's just thinking like, oh, Vince will definitely do it for 12.5 because who would turn it down?
Yeah, I think because it's all about the money for Ari, right? This is the most money this kid's ever been offered. Like, that'll definitely make him change his tune. But really, later on, and I talked about it at the beginning as being my favorite moment, he really just like levels with Vince.
I'm sorry he lied to you. This is the world we live in. He also offered you $12.5 million in compensation. He didn't have to do that. You have to stop doing what you're doing. All right? Because if you don't, he will sue you. He'll take everything you have. He'll take the house, the cars, maybe even Turtle.
I don't care about any of that, except Turtle.
Thanks, Vince.
He's like the voice of, it's not morality, but it's just his voice of reason with Vince.
Right.
Vince is all about the principles, all about he lied to me, he betrayed me, I'll never work with him. But like, really, you have a contract, bro. Like, you need to honor it. This is
right.
And Ari's like me and you, where we're like, take the job, Vince.
Yeah, I guess that's why I get, I'm like, dude, just do the job. You're going to be in a movie, you make $12.5 million, and then you can tell that guy to fuck off, whatever you want.
Exactly.
Well, principles, kid.
Last two questions. Every week we assign a winner for the episode. Who won this week's episode? There's really only one person that can be, right?
So, I guess I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Because I wrote down drama, but now I'm thinking it should be E because he had a threesome with...
That's who I thought it'd be.
It's got to be E, right? I guess I just mean...
It's got to be E.
Who won the episode, in my mind, was like, who's the most entertaining, which is
Sure.
drama. But I guess that will be that every episode. But who won the episode? Like, who came away... I mean, it's got to be E. I mean, having a threesome with Sloane and Heartbreak Kid Girl.
Yeah.
So I'll go with E. He definitely won the episode.
Have you ever done anything like that?
No. Have you?
What do you think?
I think no, and I don't think you ever would.
Are you challenging me?
No, I'm not saying it in a bad way. I just don't think you would.
I would. With you once.
Once would be great.
With drama being the most compelling for me.
Yeah. No, I mean, if we're judging them purely on comedic merit, drama wins every week.
That's true. That's a different award, I guess.
In terms of like ending up on top or having the most successful episode, drama would not win every week. In fact, he'd probably lose most episodes.
That's true. Although he did get that Eddie Burns pilot audition, right?
The audition, yeah. We're not at the pilot yet. I'm Irish from New York, and you were once young. All right, last question, Mike. If you were to give this episode a letter grade, A-list, B-list, or D-list, and you can go plus or minus, what would you assign this episode?
I think it's like around the same grade I gave the last one. I don't remember what I gave the last one, but I feel like this is like a B minus.
Yeah.
Like I think it's like fine and it's entertaining. There are much better episodes and there are much worse episodes.
Yeah.
It's not a bad way to spend 26 minutes. It's funny. There's like an interesting plot, but I would say like a B minus. It's like a fine episode.
I'm going to agree with you on everything you just said, but I'm going to give it a B for only what I mentioned at the top, which is that it does have staying power.
Yeah.
It's not super rewatchable, but in the memories of Entourage fans, if you go, I had Mike Camerlengo on this week, we talked about the threesome episode. Everyone goes, oh yeah, the threesome, E wakes up cuddling the other girl, blah, blah. It just like, it kind of all comes back to you. And I think that's really important when judging Entourage episodes, this super abstract thing that I'm doing every week.
That's true. I mean, I guess it's like, I'm not kidding. I've seen this episode, 5-6 times, whenever, over the course of my life. So I'm just like judging it on when I watched it yesterday.
Sure.
So like you said, it's not the most rewatchable one, but if you did say, oh, didn't, what do you know about like E's character? You'd be like, oh, didn't he have a threesome with, whatever? Yeah. You'd be like, yeah, he did. That's like a major plot point of his character.
Definitely. And later on in the show, he like tries anal with Sloane. Do you remember that?
I blacked out the later seasons, and I mean, if you want to bring me on in like season 7, I promise you I won't give an A or a B to him. But that's just what happens with TV. I mean, you run out of things to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they basically are trying to repeat the threesome plot, and I think that's I think that's in season 7 or 8, where they're like, "Have you ever done it before?" And they're like, "Let's try it." It's really awkward because you show them actually doing it.
Yeah, I don't want to see someone who's like uncomfortable doing that, and
I don't want to see Emmanuel Shrieky especially be uncomfortable.
Exactly, like making weird faces, like, like, are you okay? Yeah, no.
Well, on that anal sex note, this has been a great episode. Mike, thanks for joining.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Where can the listeners of Oh Yeah, follow you?
Find me on Twitter at mcamerlengo. That's where I put up my dumb videos. 60-second classics, which is I recap an old movie in 60 seconds, and they do pretty well. The Superbad one I just did last week,
doing numbers,
20,000 views. Seth Rogen liked the thing below it, not the video, the thing below it. Okay,
that fucking sucks.
So I'm like, Seth, it's right above, bro. Retweet it.
Yeah,
but no, they do pretty well for I only have like. I have under 4,000 followers, so they do pretty well. That one, the Karate Kid one's got like 160,000. So, they're well. So if anybody has a movie request, tweet at me, and I do stupid Kawhi Leonard tweets on there too. So
perfect. You should do the Entourage movie at some point.
I know that's it. They only did one of those, right?
They only did one of those. It didn't do very well in 2014. We're gonna get to it. Don't worry, guys. Keep listening, and in 3 years we'll do the Entourage movie.
Yeah, wait. So this is season 3. How long have you been doing this for?
So this is, I think this is episode about 30, and there are 96.
Oh,
so
wow.
we're a third of the way, almost a third of the way. Lots more good stuff to come, guys.
Tell Brandon I want my OC podcast.
All right.
All right. Because I got too much info in there, all right?
All right. Thanks for joining. We'll definitely have you back for an episode soon, and have a great rest of your week.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course.